This is the new moon reading for February 17th near the Mauna Kea in the Hawaiian Kingdom, in continuity for all Earth protectors who are considering the Mauna Kea as the level of their personal world. And I have been hesitating to make this video because it doesn't look easy what's going to happen there. I just looked up the Sabian symbol for that particular event, and it's about a butterfly leaving its chrysalis. And why do I think it's not easy? Because here we have the conjunction of sun and moon. Yeah, it's a new moon. And there is a square, a big fat square to Uranus. Yeah, Uranus. Here's Uranus. And then right next to Sedna. Sedna, a dwarf planet, stands for being sacrificed, being killed by her own father, but then immortalized as the goddess of the ocean in the Inuit mythology. So here we have this almost conjunction where Uranus is still in the first earth sign of Aries, but Sedna is already in Gemini. Gemini, first air sign, intellectual sign. I call Gemini the reporter, the journalist, supposed to report about facts, but it's also a sign of learning and teaching. Now we have this new moon here in the third house, and the third house is equivalent to Gemini. So this event here on the Hawaiian island is all about learning and teaching. I always say, like, if you want to learn something, teach it. And with this square to Uranus and Sedna, we can expect some very sudden events. Now also we have this gigantic reset in the fourth house here, in this location. It's in the fourth house, and that's the house of the family of Neptune and Saturn. And you see here, this is right here. Let me reset that. Right here. And astrologers from all angles of the world have been talking about this since months now. This millennia event. And then here we have this supportive triangle of two sextiles, 60-degree angle, and then the angle of Pluto to Sedna and Uranus. So here it will be in the family, because it's in the fourth house. It's happening in the fourth house. The fourth house is equivalent to Cancer, the first water sign that stands for our family of origin. So there may be great changes in our family life. And then we have Pluto in the second house. Second house is equivalent to Taurus, first earth sign. And in the second house, it's all about our properties, our possessions. And here in Hawaii, land back to the Hawaiians. And so I'm a little bit hesitant to even talk about this because I don't know what's going to happen, but it's not going to be too easy. Yeah, there is this saying. Remember that when an egg cracks open from the inside, like the chrysalis is cracked open by the butterfly, that means life. But when it's cracked from the outside, it means death. Yeah, so we don't want to end up as scrambled eggs, right? We want to evolve and gain freedom, because that's what the butterfly stands for, this tremendous, tremendous transformation from this greedy animals, I forgot the word, that they're crawling around and doing just eating, and then all of a sudden they stop and they hang themselves somewhere and they are creating this shelf around themselves and totally change their bodies. So we have to look what is happening here. Many people, many fantastic astrologers are reporting about general themes, but here on the Hawaiian Island we have particular themes. So we have the sign rising in Sagittarius, the last fire sign, and I call the Sagittarius the keeper of the sacred flame. It's a sign of the philosophers, priests, and negatively aspected of zealousness. And we having a karmic angle here from the sign rising to Jupiter in the 8th house. At the very, very beginning of the 8th house, and in the sign of family, like the image of Cancer is the image of the Madonna, the mother of the child, mother and the child, and Isis. And we have this image of the sacred mother in every religion, yeah. But we are at the end of like 4,000 to 6,000 years of patriarchy, and we are in the end stage of a deteriorating empire. We can look what happened in Rome, with the public circuses where people had to watch people getting killed in the most horrific way as a public entertainment. And this is what we are experiencing now. The Western, the European culture seems to be based on the ancient Greek culture. But the ancient Greek culture was already the turning point of matriarchy to patriarchy, where, differently from the Hawaiian culture, the prized human sacrifices were women. And that's where, like, pedophilia actually was a big, and homosexuality theme, because women were considered so degraded, except for a few shining exemptions of very wise women who are still reported about in history. But basically, the love between the teacher and the pupil probably had very sexual connotations as well. And I just came this morning across a post, or was it yesterday, about how serious was actually the hatred against women, the debasement of women in that particular culture. Now, I have been doing researches on matriarchy, which is not women oppressing men in the way women have been for millennia now oppressed, and patriarchy. It was much more, there was much more equality, than in patriarchy. All these hierarchies, the ranks, the militarism, all of that was not in matriarchal societies. We still have matrilinear societies where the heritage line goes through the daughters instead of the sons. And when you look at the Jewish religion, culture, however you want to call it, there also the heritage, the bloodline is going through the mother, not through the father. And that is so, in patriarchy, it is so confusing and confused, because coming from Europe, we have the habit of giving women and slaves the surname of their owners, because from that time on, marriage was regarded ownership of women and children. Now, we are also having the karmic aim of that event in conjunction with Venus in Pisces. Venus in Pisces is exalted. That is where love is most spiritualized. And as Venus is before the sun, the meaning of that is, before we are able to love anybody else, we have to be able to love ourselves, which is especially difficult for all people who have in their genetic memory the millennia-old violation of oppression, rape, torture, being sacrificed, human sacrifice. And now we have, with the Epstein files, we have all this boiling up, and people are stunned by the horror that has been ruling us for such a long time. Now, how can we react? How can we stay safe? We have Chiron at the very beginning of the 5th house. The 5th house is equivalent to Leo. Leo, the second fire sign. First fire sign is here, the Ram, Aries. And the second fire sign there, the fire is in service of the ego. So there we have the king, the queen. And in the 5th house, it's about our artistic expression. Now we are having a Chiron here at the beginning of the 5th house and in Aries. There is, as Chiron is the wounded healer, there is a hint to the healing power of art therapy. That's actually what I've studied way back when, art therapy. So it is important for us that we are able to express ourselves, whether through poetry, journaling, painting, dancing, theater. Yeah, because why? Here we have a weak, very weak, but still, when we act to it, a positive influence in the sextile between sun, moon, and, you see here? Sun, moon, and, let me reset that. Can I reset that? Oh my goodness. No, I can't. Here. Okay, let's try again. You see here's sun and moon, and here's Chiron, and here we have this sextile. I hope you can see that. So this can help us individually. Right now, there are no need to do anything in the public professionally. 10th house is empty, but we're having this, it's called the finger of God. You see, we're having this triangle to the midheaven. This is, oops, sorry, let me reset that. Here, this is the medium curly, midheaven, and that's the point of mission at that particular time. And then the 10th house is empty. But the point of mission is in Virgo. And what's the theme of Virgo? It's a materialistic sign. It's the second earth sign, where the earth is in service of the ego. And it's the sign of harvest. And it's the sign of being meticulous with details, opposite of Pisces, with the oceanic consciousness. So whatever we do, we have here also the weak sextile, 60-degree angle between Mars behind the sun, but also in the 3rd house and in Aquarius. So we want to make, as it is all about learning, as I said before, we want to actively learn about economical systems that are more just, more equal. Here is Mars, goes this sextile to the wounded healer, and then these two karmic angles. It's a little bit weak. As I said before, in these kind of images, the more strong an angle is, the more precise, the more powerful is it. And you see it, how thick or thin are the lines. The thicker the lines, the stronger is this aspect. Now, I want to talk again about Jupiter at the edge, at the very beginning of the 8th house equivalent to Scorpio, where we have Haumea. Here's Haumea. Haumea is not happy, not too happy, because she is really experiencing violence, or reliving even, of rape culture. That's what it is all about, rape culture. The rape culture we're experiencing, not physically only as women, children, and many times men as well, but also the rape of our Earth Mother through the mining, through the fracking, through the poisoning. And on a cellular level, we have it through genetic manipulation. If you watch this movie, The Future of Food, it came out in the beginning, I think in the beginning of this millennium, not millennium, century, how an egg cell cringes from being penetrated with a needle and inserted genes that are not, that she is not agreeing with. She has to be forced. So we have it on the cellular level, the rape, we have it on a global level, and we have it on the human level. And all this right now is boiling up, coming to the surface. And everybody has to ask him or herself, how much are we profiting from this system where actually we are living in a constantly changing hierarchy, and this hierarchy is based on our possessions. The less we own, the less respect we get, the less we get trampled on, pushed around, and eventually hurt and killed. Like, I'm talking from a position without health care. I'm 72 now, very soon. And, well, I know pretty well how to manifest whatever I need, and it goes very fast. So, but I have to make end life plans. I have already, and I hope it works as I wanted, but it can be very painful. Aging can be very painful. And so, but it's the whole humanity. We are in this process, yeah, of getting rid of a lot of horrible things. I don't expect the golden age coming, as so many new agers are talking about. I don't believe we are yet and soon entering the age of Aquarius. We have a very Aquarian time through Pluto, but it is for the better and the worse. So we are not going to experience paradise as humanity ever. I don't think so. But getting rid of all what is happening now, having it exposed, is like a human being who is hiding a festering wound under a bandage, very tight bandage. And I just read about some history of the last 10 years of Henry VIII of the English Empire, who had such a wound that stank incredibly. But in order to heal, it has to be opened. It has to be exposed. It cannot be perfumed anymore. That's the only way of a possibility to heal this wound. We have to look at it no matter how ugly it is. Lately, I got a comment on one of my posts that a dark mind seeks for dark things. And I want to tell everybody who has been criticizing me for being negative and da-da-da-da-da-da, and you only have to think positive and don't even talk about negative things. No, my friends. Any kind of creation, any kind of movement happens because of positive and negative. Try to turn on your light, your coffee machine, or what have you. You will have positive and negative energy, or else nothing functions. So living between hippies and all kind of new agers and all kind of people who are measuring their spiritual success by the amount of money they can make through it and what have you, and all the status symbols that go with that. Think about, who are you depriving? Who are you pushing into negativity because you think you can have all the positive things, and then you project your own negativity, your own sorrow, your own pain, your own grief, your own anger on somebody else. Somebody probably with darker complexion, less money, and so on. So this is a time where we have to seriously inquire our own conscience, everybody for themselves, and then also here in the families. Lately, I listened to a reel from a Hawaiian lady who stated, well, sexual abuse, we have all experienced this. We all have experienced sexual abuse as children, as if it was the most normal thing. We have to look at that. And also we have to look at that, how this happens in oppressed, in impoverished communities. Why? Because it has been projected. It has been projected on those people with darker skin, poorer, or, how they call it, white trash America, yeah? Americans are the greatest consumers of goods from our Earth Mother. And Americans are also the ones who are producing the most trash on this planet. So we are living in a system that literally trashes people and then kills them. And this has been going on very long. And now, through social media, it becomes visible and it's ugly. So, for all of you working in the medical field, people who are making operations, and so nurses, yes, wounds can be incredibly ugly. I could never do it. I would throw up. But some people, they're doing that. So we have to do that on the psychological level. And repeating myself, it's not going to be too easy.